about the miracles in the Bible, and this is true in Catholicism, I assume Judaism, and in all faiths, there's always somebody who's saying, yeah, that didn't really happen. This is what probably happened. What is it about the miracle of the 8 nights of Hanukkah that we believe in versus what we question?
Yeah, let me start when you mentioned all faiths and religions have miracles. Miracles are vehicles to tell a story, to teach us a lesson. And the problem lies in the receiver. We take them literally. We don't see them as parable, as metaphor. You know, it's very hard to teach values. It gets real boring. So the best way to teach something is with a story or with a miracle or something happened. And rather than saying, okay, I can see this is the outcome, this is what I'm learning from it, as opposed to believing that Moses struck a rock and water came out, or waters parted, or somebody walked on the ocean. We're wasting time and energy, spiritual energy, if we focus on the miracle and as whether it was real or not real, because that wasn't the intent of the writer. That's not the intent of the tradition. The tradition of all religion is to teach us something.
So you're saying that the oil did not last for 8 nights?
No, it did not. There was no oil. It didn't last for 8 nights. The whole thing was made up. It's apocryphal. The problem is it's so dramatic and it lends itself to gravitating to it and wanting to focus on it rather than the miracle about fighting for religious freedom. And the idea that individuals, a small group started, gained support, and then started the Third Jewish Commonwealth. And the idea of what happened is the miracle, not something someone made up in some obscure place that has no historic basis. And, you know, it's just silly not to use it as a vehicle and make it the whole focus. People don't know about the Maccabees, the House of Hasmonia, the war. People don't talk about that. They don't talk about what's important. It keeps coming back to this little silly story.
And I have to explain, I had to explain to my family, no, the original Hanukkah was not about candles, it was about oil.
And the Maccabees were cleansing the temple to celebrate Sukkot. And this is right out of their own literature. They had spent Sukkot in the wilderness for several years. Sukkot is one of the 3 pilgrim festivals that you're supposed to make the pilgrimage to Jerusalem. Sukkot, Passover, and Shavuot, and not being able to fulfill the commandment to appear on the Temple Mount on Sukkot, they said we need to cleanse the temple so we can observe Sukkot. That was the goal. But that doesn't seem to hold people's imagination as finding oil, and it lasted, and there was a great miracle there. The goal is for the miracle to elicit feelings. And why settle for oil in a candle? Do you know, Joe, that there were 100,000 Maccabee soldiers on the Temple Mount? And do you know what it takes to feed that many people? And people don't realize that there was one chicken that was left in Jerusalem. And that one chicken laid enough eggs to feed the entire Maccabean army. So for 8 days, so they could bring more chickens in, this one hen fed the entire army. And in honor of the Hanukkah chicken, here is the Hanukkah chicken egg. And it was a great miracle happened there. Our troops were fed by this one chicken.
So why don't we light 8 chickens on fire?
See, it's not the chicken, it was a great miracle. Now, you're laughing and people make fun of me. Why is that any more ridiculous than oil lasting for 8 days. Why is it any more ridiculous? They're both ridiculous. But we were at the other one, and it isn't even that old, the legend or the story. The chicken legend is much older. Here is the egg.
I see a franchise in the offing. The 8-day Hanukkah chicken at KFC. Can it be far away?
And it was a great miracle, but legend tells us that after the chicken laid the last egg to feed the last soldier before the new chickens arrived, the hen died.
Oh.
That's the legend. I would like to leave my listeners, just remember, we don't want to focus on what we call miracles or stories, because they're there to teach us something. So let's see what the spiritual lesson is, and let's teach the spirituality and not get caught up in could it or did it or wouldn't it have happened.
I know one thing, you always provide us with a good lesson every week, and I thank you for that.
You're very welcome. And whenever you see an egg, I want you to think of the Hanukkah chicken.